can see up here, so this is the switch for controlling the power of the machine.
Yep.
So in the morning, first thing we will do is turn this on. This is at the on position, this is the off. This button needs to be on all the time, which is boiling still in the back, boiling pork. So 20, button number 20 needs to stay on all the time, unless you are doing maintenance. So during normal course, first thing after turning this on, you are going to run a good morning cycle, which is program number 1. So basically you click on the down arrow, which will bring you to the menu bar, and then you switch up or down. So if going to program 1, so this is program 1, you click on enter, so now you are in program 1, and then you press start button, so that will turn on the program 1. At the end of the program 1, machine will beep indicating the cycle has completed, then it's ready for
Okay, so every morning someone has to start the good morning without any garments.
Exactly.
And how long is that cycle?
That's like 10-12 minutes.
Okay.
Basically it resets the whole machine.
Okay.
Ready for
So it doesn't
operation.
use any solvent, it just...
It brings solvent back if it is somewhere in the process from a previous day. So it resets machine for operation. So once that cycle completes and you are ready to load the machine, then you will press this button. This is locking and unlocking when the light is hard red.
So
that means
solid red means it's locked.
It's ready for opening.
Okay, so
right now you can open this machine.
Okay, so when it's locked and
it will be turned off.
Okay, turned off means you cannot open.
No, you
Turn
can.
on
It won't
means,
allow to open any of the machine door in the front or in the back.
Okay, gotcha.
So let's say for example, first program we run program 7, which could be light garments, dark garment.
Sorry, before that, so just back to the bath. So 1 bath, 75, 2 baths, so that's 150. What is the difference in running 1 or 2?
No, let me step back.
Yeah.
That's the size of the tank.
Okay.
How much perk it uses, I do not know that part. But throughout the day, we have run like 7 or 8 cycles, and it runs fine. So basically, the perk gets taken from those tanks into the cleaning process, sent back to the still, boiled, cleaned, and sent back ready for reuse in the tank.
Right.
So this cycle pretty much runs throughout as machine is running. Even during when it's not running, it is still cleaning the perk and sending it back to storage in these tanks.
So a 1 and a 2 bath just means it's just a longer wash for a 2 bath.
Longer wash, and it's like cleaning it twice.
Okay.
We use program 7 or single bath to avoid like more mechanical action into the garment. So if it is delicate, lighter, so we want it to be clean and finished quickly without over cleaning. So we use 7, but 80% of time we will use program 2, which is 2 baths, so it gets cleaned twice, and it doesn't matter whether colors are dark or lighter colors.
Okay, so 2 can be used for both light and dark. You just don't wash them together.
Yeah, exactly.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. And that is usually about an hour?
Yeah, 60 minutes, 65.
And you found it to be quicker if there are less in the
drum? Like I think we had seen anywhere from 55 to 68, 69 minutes.
Gotcha, okay.
So we run program number 1 first thing in the morning, number 2 and 7 throughout the day, and at the end of the day when we are ready to shut down the machine, we run program 19, which is good night. So it pretty much readies machine to be shut down. and that's about it. Once that 19 program 19 finishes, machine will be, and usually when the program finishes, you only have one button lit up, and maybe this one. Other than that, it will say open, unlock, means cycle has completed. You turn this off, and that's about it. And
So you rarely use the other programs?
no, except number 14, which we use weekly to clean or do maintenance of the
Okay.
machine.
So 19 is daily and 14 is weekly almost.
Weekly, every week, whenever we have slow day,
Yep.
so we just use our judgment. So we realize we don't have enough garments, so we try to run prior to like midday, finish all the cycle. With program 14, you can clean dark garment, black, navy blue, any dark garment can be cleaned during that cycle. Once program 14 finishes, you let it sit for the whole day until the end of the day, and then run good night cycle. We need to make sure that after we run program 14, the next day, first thing when we come, turn the machine on, and this is the time when you are going to switch this off, because this pretty much heats up the still. So when you are cleaning the still, you do not want
So
it
this
to be
light
hot.
is this light meant to be on right now?
Yeah.
So it's always
So
on?
it is always on except when you are opening the still in the back. You don't want it. Actually, there is a safety mechanism. So if you will try to turn open that still, and if it is hot, it won't let you open it. So first thing in the morning after running maintenance cycle the previous day, you turn the machine on and switch this off. Open the machine in the back by obviously unlocking from here, clean the still, remove all the sludge, and then when you are ready to run your good morning cycle, you have to turn this back on. If you miss turning this on after doing cleaning of the still, what will happen is machine will run for 2-3 cycle, maybe 3 cycle normally, but all of the perk is being used and sent to the still, nothing is coming back. Eventually it will be up to the highest level in still, and it will sound an alarm here obviously stating still is full, and you cannot use that machine anymore. So you have to turn this back on and let it sit for 3-4 hours, because that's the amount of time it takes for all the pulp to get boiled, separated out and sent back to these tanks here.
So the still is the dirty stuff after.
That's the housing exactly where the dirty pulp goes. It gets boiled, water, pulp, clean pulp
chilled, send back.
sent back. Yeah, exactly. So that's about it. So this is how, and
so all of these, so it looks like there's a lot of programs here. How many of these do you have to worry about, or are they sort of just tell you the process?
no, these are the steps. We never touch this, and like there is a manual which
Okay, so you don't
will tell
ever
you
touch this.
we do not touch any of these buttons here except for this during cleaning of the still. All of the programs are controlled from this menu or this area.
So you can actually skip programs, things like that, but we don't touch that.
No, nothing. There are ways you can do that, but nothing. So you use this to unlock the door of the machine. This area to change the program, and that's about it. Few things to remember is after every cycle, it is good and advisable to go and clean the air filters and the pin filter. if ever there are any issue during operation of the machine, and if you find that the garment still has some amount of perk, you can either know that by smell, or when you touch it, it will feel wet. Leave it in the machine, maybe try to run that same cycle again to see how it goes. If there is still an issue, then call the technician, but do not ever take this garment and put in the dryer. That is a big no.
Is there a similar cycle where it just does a drying inside? If in the case that it comes out
Okay,
wet.
when machine malfunctions, we don't know where the error is. So if say the drying process is malfunctioning, then if you rerun that step, it's not gonna help. So best thing is to call the technician and have them figure it out.
What are these buttons? Have we ever used this button?
No, this is like, again, if you feel that something is stuck which never happened, let's say you were putting some garments and it's one part is stuck and you see it spinning and it's gonna get ripped, then you can stop it. This is emergency stop button.
Right. And then just run the cycle again.
No, then basically open it. This will stop the machine.
Yeah. But what happens if there's still solvent?
It will stay there. It will allow you to open it. But again, like that never happened because there is a safety mechanism built where when you are closing this, it pushes garment inside the drum rather than catching it. Other than that, actually, there is nothing.
So mainly go over any sort of edge case where things might go wrong. So we can cover 90% of the easy stuff, but where things get, you from your experience, things get a bit tricky. Where
we had few instances like again one. If you are cleaning feather doona in this, double make sure there are no holes in it. We had that one instance where pretty much someone put a doona, feather doona with hole, and the feather pretty much stuck all the filters, and machine was not usable. We had to call the technician. The other issues we had no clue, like the blockage of the pipe which goes into steel. We end up calling the technician 2-3 times.
Okay, so that's like just pieces falling from garments.
Garments, exactly. Yeah.
That blocks the pipes, and then it starts to build up the lint.
Lint, yeah.
Okay.
The other a good practice would be to check each garment at the time of receipt. The ballpoint pen or any ink pen needs to be removed right away, because we had few instances where the ink or the refill gets stuck somewhere in the process, and multiple cycles will come out with some like ink on the garments and stuff. What else?
Oh, so we actually skip pre-spotting. So how much of pre-spotting is done usually as a percentage of the garments that come in here straight away?
I would say 90% of garment comes here straight away.
Yeah.
The others, we either put small amount of moisture, like to remove makeup stain or sweat stain. Otherwise, we have cleaners number 1 and 2 to remove any makeup, food stains. But this process has a pre-cleaning solvent and a cleaning solvent, so that gets pulled from the back, and that takes care of pretty much 90% of all the normal stain.
Right. And then And then after that, if the stain is still there, you do a post
we do
spotting.
post spotting,
And if it doesn't work, do you clean it again, or is
no,
that
we try to do like at least 2 attempts
okay?
with this. One, nothing. Second time, maybe apply one of the spot cleaners. Again, that spot cleaner needs to be only applied if there is no instruction specifically telling do not spot clean or something on the garment. Otherwise, you will end up with like either a watermark or something.
So with the stain, do you have to really know what that stain is to determine which of the chemical to use for spotting
Like
treatment?
sometimes customer will tell you if they know. Otherwise, what we do is we start with number 1. So
Okay.
now 1 through 4 they have like the how strong that chemical is. So ideally,
So one is the
safest, least
safest. Okay.
strongest. So we
Gotcha.
usually start with that. And what we had found is if a stain will get removed, then as soon as you apply that product, you will start seeing it reacting, and you can pretty much clean outside before even that garment going in the machine.
So you just squirt
The least amount of
one of these on there, or is it okay?
Exactly. And if it is like a lighter silk garment, then
Yeah.
we have Q-tips. So
Okay.
first put this product on Q-tip and then apply on the garments.
Okay. And then just use the compressor gun. Air gun.
Exactly, the air gun, or like apply small amount of water through spray tube.
Cool. Right. So, in the case that there is an issue with dye run, let's say for example, the red runs out to. Does it run out to the dark colors or only light? Have you ever had?
It does run out to darker color, but you will not see it in the garment itself unless inside lining is of lighter color. And we had even seen the label which we apply discoloring to that color. Normally, rerunning same garment without applying anything in 2 bar take care of those stains. In worst scenario where the garment is of, let's say, a very light color, even after running it for few cycles, then last resort could be soaking it in vinegar, little bleach, or nappy
So
soaker.
the rule of thumb is to never wash red with light.
Yeah, never
Even
ever,
like silk, even red silk.
Silk is safe,
Yeah.
but again, if you are not sure if there is no label, even after cleaning a red garment with dark garments, and if you see no traces of any color run, it is not advisable to run lighter load right after it. We had found that it will get patches of red color
So
or
there's
pink
some
color.
residue from the last.
Exactly.
Is there any sort of a rinse cycle that we can do just if we don't happen to have another dark load to wash?
We had in the past, to be on safe side, just use empty 2 bath cycle with nothing, or like a towel or something.
What? So doing like a good morning doesn't work.
No.
No, it's not a bath.
Depending on
okay.
where that color residues remain during the last cycle. If there is a big risk, then we had found that 80% of garment recommends both dry cleaning and also like toned hand wash. Then it's good to just run those red in like a delicate cycle using water.
Okay. What about these features? Don't touch either.
No, nothing.
Okay.
There is a list of programs on the machine itself which was like overwritten by the programs for Fireside. So whatever programs are listed on this cheat sheet are the only program we run on this machine.
So let's say you press 20, it just won't run anything.
Yeah, nothing will happen.
Okay.
There are a few other programs like 8, 5, but we had never used it.
Now let's talk about the tanks. So